Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another edition of the Geek 2.0 podcast. We're back again.
Yep,
It's just me and Joe. Finally, after finally got back together.
Yeah.
We got the band back together.
Woo woo.
I know, kind of set things back a little bit, but hey, life gets in the way. How's it going, Joe?
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's especially now this part of the year. It's kind of
Oh yeah, the holidays are always nuts.
yeah. And of course, this episode is going out tomorrow because I'm trying to fix the backlog. And but actually, we do have a very cool episode today. We're going to be talking about social media, that redheaded stepchild and savior of everything.
It's very much a two-sided coin.
Yeah, and we're also going to dive into some Halloween tech geekiness as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into the social media.
Okay.
Within the past decade, it's kind of like exploded, where it's just one of those things where we saw it as this awesome thing to bring people together, but in actuality, it drove a lot of people away.
It drove away I guess the way you would phrase it is the human interaction, the getting together in one place and talking and meeting, because you'll see it's kind of the biggest stigma that you see on TV and everywhere, because it's true, is you'll see a bunch of people hanging out together, but they're all on their phones.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see it at restaurants. I'm guilty of it as well. My wife and I were very guilty. But it's also a bad habit for my daughter that she's picked up as well. We'll sit there at the dinner table or go out to a restaurant and we're
In your phones.
on our phones.
But at the same time, if you kind of alter your mindset of it, is a lot of people think that you're now antisocial, whereas all you've done is just changed where your social aspect of life
Yeah, because I've caught a lot of like the older generation where they've made comments. It's like, oh, no one's talking to each other on the table because they're head deep into a phone.
And in reality, you're talking
to each other or other family members as well.
Correct.
I mean, right now that it could be construed as a bad thing in older generations, where you get together, you have family time, and there was no TV. The TV was in another room, somewhere else in the house, or at the restaurants. The kids were coloring on the placemats or throwing stuff or running around being annoying.
It really all just comes down to your own perception of what you expect life to be. I mean, the same thing's going to happen as we become grandparents and we're the older generation. We're going to be looking at the kids going, wow, whatever.
They're staring blankly because their implants are showing a movie.
Something, who knows? And it's going to be the norm for them. That's just evolution, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, it's yeah, I like how you said evolution, because it is an evolution of our species, so to speak.
Yeah.
That we've integrated these electrical devices, electronics, and other stuff into us. We're becoming cyborgs, so to speak.
Yeah, but there has been a trend for a while now, but it's definitely becoming more commonplace, where I guess the term you really could use would be crowdsourcing. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the definition of crowdsourcing.
Right.
So you have your standard, by definition, hey, I'm looking for this, or hey, I have a question about this, and you pose it on social media and see what answers you get. But the aspect that's really coming along on the social aspect of it is you'll see stories of it just happened today, actually. A little girl's birthday party, and no one showed.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot.
showed.
Actually, I've been noticing a lot of those postings on Facebook The Facebooks.
They dropped the S.
I know. Another Twitter and stuff like that, where all of a sudden you'll have the family or the mother or father, whatever, posting online. Like in this case, just today,
It was a local. It was the local city, county, municipality.
yeah, because every
Chat.
there's a group in Facebook that has your local town, division, whatever, group or page. But it was in there that little girl
No one
showed up for a 3-year-old birthday party. And from the pictures, I mean, they had a shelter and they had a bounce house castle thingy.
You can tell they had planned for
at least for
decent,
10 people.
yeah,
or
decent
so.
group.
But then, in my mind, is that okay? You said that you're coming to this party. What other plans did you have that no one showed up?
Yeah, it's not like it was rained out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't even like.
Well, you had a shelter. I mean, you can stand underneath in the thingy.
Yeah, some people are weird.
It's
general
nature.
excuses.
Yeah.
Weather's typically a big one that people use. But yeah, it wasn't. It was planned, from what I gathered from the post. It was planned to be earlier, and the parent posted in the chat, the forum, opening it basically to the public, like, hey, anyone who wants to come, we have a bounce house, like, come play.
Yeah.
And huge turnout, which is great. You know,
Well,
what I mean?
that's another thing is that, okay, yeah, social media drove everyone away perceptively, but this is also another way to bring the community aspect of your city, town / whatever village together.
Yeah.
In a certain way that you have complete strangers just coming to your kid's birthday party. Even the police. I mean, that's the thing I always notice on these is the police force comes in. I always joke, is like, oh, the cops are here to break up the party. Got a noise complaint.
Well, you know, it's funny, and I hope, and I understand there's always situational, differences, but I hope it's something that they always do, that they kind of make it mandatory, for lack of better words. And my reasoning behind that is because if it becomes known that when a situation like this arises, if you're to the point that you're posting and asking the public to come join, that the police in some form or function do show up, just because in my mind that would actually calm, I think, nerves of a lot of your more skittish helicopter parents.
Oh yeah, because there's a whole bunch of those and the Karens out there.
Yeah, there's a lot that could obviously go wrong. I'm sure even people listening or watching this are thinking the same thing of like, ooh.
Yeah, all strangers at my 3-year-old, 4-year-old
All the candy
party.
vans that are pulling up.
Yeah. Hey, free candy.
So
Nothing can go wrong.
I think, one, having the police show up, it's a lot of really good PR for them. It puts a little bit of that calm peace of mind that there's some type of presence at these places.
Yeah, and also it brings to light that, especially in the U.S. right now, the police are suffering from an image problem. That's a whole nother discussion.
Oh, very much so.
But it's a lot. The public perception of the police is dropping, where there's a lot of people are more afraid of the police than the actual bad guys.
Yes.
So to have the community outreach of your police force and a more positive message and way work wonders, and it's free.
Yeah, it takes you back to the
Andy Griffith
old
type
school mindset of that local beat cop, that everyone in the neighborhood knew, you know what I mean, that you felt safe, it kind of, it's the starting point of being able to take you back to that area. Whether it'll ever actually get there, who knows?
It's going to take a lot of work. It's with decades of work.
Yeah,
but it's a step into the right direction that they can take on and actually proactively work on instead of the way they are now. But it also brings together the community, because you got these people that live literally next door.
They're in your neighborhood that have no idea. Yeah.
They don't even know who you are.
Truly, yeah.
Because even right here, I know my neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
but any further than this area, I have no clue who anyone lives down the road.
Same for me. My neighborhood, the area that we are in, we're in kind of a dead end, kind of back end of the neighborhood cul-de-sac, and same thing. Like I kind of know, say hi, friendly with, the immediate neighbors, and like when you walk around the neighborhood, like everyone's friendly and says hi, but I don't necessarily know who they are, what they do. You know what I mean? We know their neighbors. So it could be even a situation like that. It could be very, close. So I agree.
And it's also another thing, because there's an app called Nextdoor. So I don't know if you use it. A lot of communities
I have
do.
not used it. Yeah.
It's great because it's very I want to say geofenced to your particular neighborhood, and you can also expand out because it has a radius of how big you want, like 5 miles out or whatnot. Because one major problem is a lot of people just put crap out there.
Yeah.
But it's a nice thing too, because our next door has included this neighborhood and the one that's in the two that are next to us. So we get a lot of
so it's Inception version.
Pretty much
neighborhoods.
Yeah, and that's the American way. America. But it's one of those things where it helps too, because you can't sign up to it. They have to mail you a physical card with a key when you first move in or you sign up. So that's how you log in the first time. So it makes sure that you live there, not say some random person that's in Podunk, Ohio, trying to pretend that he's down in Florida.
Yeah.
But, and also another thing is we look at like security systems. Ring, I know, has a lot of neighborhood stuff that is incorporated with its app. Like people post up or upload videos of, notice this guy walking through my backyard. Does anyone recognize him?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff like that. And it's a lot of FUD stuff goes out there too.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I mean, it could be a whole nother episode talking about that aspect of it. But it's nice to see the kind of like how we were just talking about with the police, social media as a whole, where it went and still does, and rightfully so, have a negative connotation about social media and online interactions and all that. But that there is that good, that positive, that silver lining that can absolutely come out of social media, and should, because that's kind of, in my opinion, what it should be used for and what it can be used for.
And unfortunately, the way Facebook is going, it's kind of how it was built is just forgetting that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of moving into a different territory.
It's moved more into data mining individuals.
And of course, we all know, we've talked about with like the Cambridge Analytica, and now lately they want to go into news sourcing, journalism, which no. But that's, I mean, there's other aspects. There's so many different platforms. There's Facebook. You got Twitter, RIP, Google Plus. You got TikTok and Snapchat, and you got all sorts of stuff.
Anything can become a social media platform.
Yeah, and even if it's a small, your local community, there's probably forums out there that are for particular communities that are small enough. They're not a national or global scale, but they do gather the eyes for that particular area.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they are taking over part of the job of the local newspaper. Because the local newspaper used to have you like classified ads.
Oh, absolutely.
Farmers markets, flea market, or garage sales and stuff like that.
I mean, that's basically what started the birthday thing
Craigslist.
that we were talking about. It was a Facebook version of it, but it was the same thing. It was the local forum that was just happened to be on
I think,
Facebook.
like I said, I
it's the
think-
same thing. It's all your local ads and
Yeah.
businesses and recommendations, but it's all people that live in your neighborhood. So yeah,
Because I think Craigslist was the first one originally as a social network. I mean, it was more of an ads base, but if you look at it, it was bringing a community together that,
yeah, I can see where you're getting that from.
yeah, there's certain aspects of Craigslist that we're not going to go into, but
The dark corners.
yeah, I mean, that's the dark corners of everything. So. But it brought together people say, hey, posting up my garage sale for this weekend.
No, I really liked Craigslist when it was kind of at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, 2 of the homes that I lived in when we were renting before we bought, I found off of Craigslist. Yeah.
I didn't find anything on Craigslist.
Yeah, it really, but it was great the way that it worked out. Like I could just flip through and look through homes and, the junk, scary junk, you know what I mean? All of a sudden I find one, I'm like, ooh, let's go check it out. And literally that day, deposit, done. Like it was within hours they posted it, it was done. Like it was a really neat, fun interaction, you know what I mean? That came out of it. And it's a shame because in my viewpoint, again, we're kind of getting off the subject, but in my viewpoint, that was back before home rentals became such a business where the prices have skyrocketed. This was back then. It was just the homeowners posting it and the prices were so much better.
Well, it's also because you have different markets that are priced differently.
Yeah, but we get off the subject there.
Yeah, taking it back to the social aspect of the social media, and that's its name is right there.
Yeah,
it's being social. So I'm thinking, looking at how when we first started within the past 10 years, how we kind of broke away from each other, we've actually started to gel back together
through social media.
And there's a lot of stuff out there that they're trying to change different ways of how their apps or their systems work to try to bring more people together.
Well, and on top of that, I think as the multiple generations that are interacting with social media, we're also learning how to use it, I guess would be a better way of putting it.
Yeah, because something like this had never been...
Correct. It was brand new to all of us.
I mean, we had MySpace, and that was a complete garbage fire.
Well, and
I know some of you guys out there be like, "Oh, I love MySpace. Tom is my friend."
They all had their ups and downs.
Yeah.
But it was more so just the public learning how to use social media, and it started out with a big boom. A lot of our generation took it and ran with it.
Do you think that our generation kind of ruined it?
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because just like you have in real world interactions, you have your extremists on all sides. It's the same thing with social media. You had the people that realize that they're just a person sitting at a keyboard, you know what I mean? And that there's no...
The angry typing nerd.
Yeah. So they just started trolling, and, hence trolling is now a word, in the human language.
It's gotten worse,
but at the same time, people, the younger generations coming up that are growing up with it, and us getting older using it, we're learning, as you said, not only ways of being able to secure and change how people interact on socialized websites,
right?
But also us ourselves are learning how to not only deal with what comes through, also what to expect. So we're no longer, sideswiped by some of this stuff, but also in just a lot of people I feel aren't being as mean. It's still out there.
Yeah,
it depends
on
on the platform you're using, though. It used to be it didn't matter. All social media platforms, it was there and it was prevalent.
Right.
Now I feel like it's only in certain platforms that it's there and it's prevalent. Like it used to be, I'll use actually YouTube as an example. It used to be YouTube comments in general. It didn't matter to the video. Yeah, they were all horrible.
That you wouldn't scroll down at all.
Yeah, you never bothered.
Yeah, and if you did, well, you're going into like the 9th level.
But now, like, while yes, that's still there, it's
not as prevalent.
Nowhere near as prevalent as it used to be.
Well, a lot of the things, because YouTube, a lot of these companies learn. They've learned that, okay, if we have an anonymous name to a person, the more of the bad things of that aspect can come out, because there is no I am this person, or this is my personality on it. This is who I want to portray. Now it's more of real naming. Like, okay, well, now my real name is part of, especially on Facebook, you can't really get away, because all of a sudden now, oh, this person is this way. Okay, I'm not associating myself with that.
See, Facebook, I feel, is kind of a slightly different animal, just because where Facebook has gone has become more of a extremist views kind of website. And the reason that I say that is because not only do you have, yes, you are who you are on Facebook, but through your likes and your connections on Facebook, whereas you may not in real life pre-Facebook, where you may not have taken a subject, we'll use political because that's kind of the easiest. You may not have been a hardcore Republican or Democrat, but through Facebook, once you kind of tag yourself as, I'm a little, say I may be a little more Democrat, let's just say, all of a sudden through their algorithm, because they are data mining people, they're pushing more Democratic stuff at you, and it starts getting you leaning a little more. And then because of that, in order to push you towards the Democratic side, they push the more extremist of the Republican, and vice versa. They push the more extremist side of that thing, which then gets you going, well, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And so now you're posting on a Republican thing, but an extremist Republican thing, going,
your views are
Democratic, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden you start becoming more and more of an extremist of the Democrat.
There's more radicalizing.
And I feel like that's kind of where Facebook is as a whole. It's taking people who normally wouldn't be so much more radical, as you put it, and, extremist, and is kind of starting to put people into buckets instead of it being more brackish.
Well, it's a lot of the problems is the person themselves. They like, let's say, certain things. They like 4 things that they're interested in. All of a sudden, what you're going to have happen is that you're going to get a silo effect. Where all you're learning about is just those 4 or whatever things that you've looked at. To be a well-rounded person is you want to have those 4 things, and then 4 things of stuff that you don't like, or you say, okay, well, this is stupid. So you have differing viewpoints, but unfortunately people don't do that. They're like, oh, I like cheese, I like this, I like blah.
And it's become so much easier to what's the word, regardless, to get rid of friends, basically, because of their viewpoints. It's so much easier now to either turn off notifications for someone, straight up just unfriend them, unfollow them, you know what I mean, so that you don't see it. Whereas before, one, you may not hang around that friend as often, before, outside of social media, you don't see everyone every day, all day long. Whereas on social media, depending on your feed, you may see that person every day for hours in a day. So you're seeing things of them, let's just say you and I, if we had 2 completely different viewpoints on a subject, in person, that subject hardly ever gets brought up.
Yeah, because we'll know it's like, oh, well, Joe doesn't like Ford.
I don't.
I'm a Chevy guy.
Ford sucks.
Oh, here we go. The car wars have begun.
But it's the same thing. Yeah, we may realize that one person is more on one side of another, or whatever the situation may be. So you either don't talk about it, or you bring up small subjects, but it's something that's known. On social media, I'm not posting with you in mind. I'm posting something that I like. So all you're getting in my feed all day is stuff that you don't really care for, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? No. I'm not friendly.
You're gone.
And you take away, like you were talking about, you take away that aspect of that other perspective that you normally would have had in real life when you would sit down with someone and have a conversation, because all you're getting is just that blunt, straightforward interaction. So,
and sometimes that can be a bad thing as well.
Yeah, and that's why, to me, that's where I think Facebook is failing.
It is, and it is because it's losing. It's gotten to a point where it's gotten everyone online or within its grasp, so to speak, on the entire planet. I mean, you got 7+ billion, almost 8 billion people. I mean, it's on the planet. I think their daily concurrent users were in the billion, like 1 billion. It doesn't
surprise me. Yeah,
that's absolutely. Globally. I mean, that's nuts to think about that. There is actually 1 billion people going through Facebook per second per day, but that billion is kind of segregating themselves in different things. Yeah, and Facebook has gotten in trouble where, I mean, the whole situation was it Myanmar, where it's a racial issue and it's caused a lot of turmoil over there because of what was the silo effect in Facebook. Yeah. We're seeing it here as well with politically, where our generation is kind of not using it anymore. We are using it, but the younger generation is seen as like this cesspool.
Yeah, they don't bother with it.
They see, our parents are it's like, mom and dad are using this and look at what's happening to them. I don't want anything of that. I'll go on TikTok and do a lip sync.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, and who knows what is going to happen, let's say, in the next year or two, because right now Facebook is kind of hard. It cannot fail. I should take that back. It can fail, but it is too big to fail, to use that generic term. Yeah. It can get fined and sanctioned, and which it has happened. It's because of,
in order for it to truly fail, another social media website would have to come out.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with YouTube,
because it's just like MySpace. MySpace was huge,
but at the time, because it had a lot of failures, though.
Well, it had a lot of things that people didn't really care for. Facebook's
HTML.
Yeah, Facebook's kind of in that same boat right now. There's a lot of things people don't care about with Facebook. So if another media platform like this would be a really good time for people to kind of...
Google Plus, save us.
Google Plus's biggest issue was their interface.
Well, it's also because of Google.
Yeah.
And Google has a history of just killing projects that it loses interest in. But the thing is with Facebook, yeah, I can see it can fail, but there has to be a lot of factors that have to play at the same time or very close to each other. It would have to be this major scan. We saw that already with the Cambridge Analytica, and then your data collection, and then a lot of things have to happen to keep your public perception in the public's eye.
Yeah.
Say, this is Facebook has sold my soul to Sears or whatnot.
The smartest thing they could do would be to redo their business model in a sense, and change Facebook from being a solely social media platform that it started as, and change it more into, just spitballing off the top of my head, more into a what would be a way of putting it? I don't want to say yellow pages, but kind of a security aspect, kind of like you have everything log in with Facebook, log in with this. So kind of almost like a identity platform where you have your account that specifies this is who I am.
Right.
And then you link that to other things. And then you also have the community aspect of it, of here's my local area, here's what's going on. Like, it needs to come more into that. Like, your businesses have like their business page, your people have your people page, and then you have your community section of it. Turn it more into those individual areas, and don't use Facebook as a place of posting your personal social interactions, but as a way of interacting with businesses in the community.
Okay.
Turn it more into that kind of viewpoint. Again, top of my head, spitballing.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of that way, because I mean, we have our page on Facebook groups. We also we have a group and we have a page.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses are the same aspect, the same thing, where advertise through that group or page. Our local group has a particular day that local businesses can advertise. Like it's every Wednesday you can post your business ad.
Yeah.
Any other day, no, it's going to be taken off, which is a good thing because I mean it brings a lot of local businesses as well to a more, again, community aspect. But the problem with Facebook, it's just too big. Yeah. It's kind of outgrown itself. But I mean, if there's anything else out there that can topple it, it's in the very, very early stages.
I would say early stages is the best way of putting it, because it could be something that's been out there for years
that we
don't know about it, so it would be considered early stages. But all it takes is just for people to realize it, jump on the bandwagon in a sense.
Well, the problem with that is that you have 1 billion people that are using Facebook. Let's say not even a quarter, say like 1 million people jump on it. All of a sudden, that person's personal project is now, their servers are going to melt.
It depends on how it's, who's built it and how it's built. But
it's just someone's pet project that this small group of developers, all of a sudden, overnight, they're getting notifications and emails and text messages like, hey, your server is gone. It's like, is this a DDoS attack or what? But it's just something that we have to...
it's something that will evolve. It will evolve with time. And it will continue. And it'll just kind of wait and see what happens. But I think social media is, I wouldn't even say it's turned a corner, but I would say the corner is up ahead. You know, like you could see it on the GPS, next blah, blah, blah miles. It's going to turn. I think we're to that point where it's no longer just continue driving forever and you don't know when your turn's coming up. I think we're finally to the point where we can start to see a turn, and we're getting there where social media is going to turn that corner of being more of a positive influence than it has been. Which is great to see, because that's where it always should have been, unfortunately.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into actually a show title, the Halloween Boogaloo.
Woo woo.
Yeah, it is this time of year. It's October. I mean, this is the best time of year. I look at Halloween as like the gateway of the holidays. Because it's true. It's Halloween, it's October, November, Thanksgiving, and then December is Christmas.
And then New Year's.
And then... Valentine's
Day.
Well, that's the new year. It starts over.
I didn't say anything about celebrating it. That's another holiday.
But it's like the last quarter of the year is always the best part. It's also when everything starts getting nice and cool outside. Well,
depending on where you live.
Yeah, if you're anywhere but Florida, I mean, this is hell.
I mean, technically, it has started getting nice and cool, but it's still hot.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 degrees cooler.
It's upper 80s.
Yeah, but a lot of things is that we've seen more and more tech have come into decorations, the Halloween spirit. One thing I know you have is the projector that you can put up on your window.
Love it.
That is now becoming a big thing. In the past couple of years, people have like a zombie scene, or it looks like zombies on a sheet trying to push up against the window and stuff like that.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it so much. And they're actually not only... It's a pretty expensive investment to start out with.
Yeah, it's what, $200 or $300.
If you buy it through the company directly and you get their projector, it's kind of like their starter kit, if you will. It's about $350.
Okay.
To get everything started. But what they've done, at least this year, I don't know if they did it last year, but they're definitely, I've seen it in stores this year.
They got 4K.
No. Well, yes, but no. They've done smaller versions of it. Target actually has or had, I should say, because Christmas decorations are out.
It's been up since August.
Yeah. They've got a kind of like tabletop version where it's not a projector.
Oh, it's like a Pico projector.
Maybe, but it looks like an old school Canon film and reel projector. Well, that's what it looks like the casing. So it may have a small Pico projector inside, but it looks like that. But it sits, it's only about yay tall, sits on a small little tripod and projects like onto your wall. but it uses the same video files that you
Okay.
get in their bigger projector. So instead of having to invest in $300 something massive window size projections, you know what I mean? You get this little guy to project on your wall, and they have some video files that look like picture frames, you know, with stuff crawling out of it, or like
Oh, yeah, I
the
see.
wall will bust open, a bunch of bugs come crawling out, you know, stuff like that. Ghost images and stuff. So I mean, it's cool that they've downsized it to make it accessible for
Right.
you know, everybody, and it wasn't a bad price. Honestly, I want to say it was maybe 120. It could be even less than that, to be honest with you.
Because I was been looking at systems like that, and when you look at them, yeah, you get kind of sticker shock. Okay, well, it's the investment, but you're not looking at it as $300 every year.
Correct.
It's $300 that, if you look at it long term, it's maybe $50 a year.
Well, and the thing that
Because that's not the highest quality of a projector. You're not going to use it for
Correct.
watching movies
You
and
can.
well, you can, but it's not like high definition. You can put it in the backyard for movie night when it's nice out, and who cares if it's not the best quality? It's just the experience.
Well, and that's the thing that I learned about after I bought it, to be perfectly honest with you, is that the starter kit, it's the projector. It comes with a like a window screen, I guess is a way of putting it.
Okay,
It's almost, it kind of think of like a bed sheet,
Yeah, pretty
basically. But it's a thin enough material that even though I'm projecting inside my house, you can see the image outside the house. So it comes with the screen. It's got the projector, and then it comes with a assortment of video files that are not just Halloween. They've got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, Christmas. They've got
A little bit, pretty
4th of
much of
July.
everything.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of them. And then you can buy extra video files and download them from their website. Had I kind of had a better understanding of it, I probably would have price shopped projectors themselves and found a good projector for
half the price.
yeah, a lot less.
Yeah.
And then just gotten the video files from the company directly, because the video files are definitely worth it.
And then they're about $50 or so for like
Less, honestly. Yeah, you can get their video files for like $10-20.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No.
Yeah, because that's continuing what I was saying is that I looked at, because we're doing a movie tonight, so I was looking at projector units. I did the opposite of what you did. I bought a projector
Gotcha.
for like $100. I mean, I don't think it's 1080, but it's like 720, which is a good, decent.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
what you
image
need
quality.
to use it for. Yeah.
Because I looked around, because a lot of, if on Amazon, you have to look at the description and what the specifications are, because they'll say, oh, it's 1080p image quality, but it can accept 1080p, but what it outputs is DVD like garbage quality.
I love that DVD is now garbage quality.
Yeah, they have 480. I mean, who wants to watch that on a 30 or 40 inch image? But that's one of the things that will trip you up is when you go on and try to find it yourself. You have to look. You have to do the research.
And that is why I went and just got the starter kit bundle.
Because it did it all for you.
Everything, like, this projector is for their stuff. Like, they've vetted their, you know what I mean? Not only that, but the projector itself, the software on the projector is for this specifically. So they've got their options of, you know, sideways projecting, whether it's projecting from inside the house to the window, or whether it's projecting from outside the house onto the window. You know, like there's
so
the reverse,
image reversal,
mirror all
image,
that. Like, it's all built in, and it's a very simple user interface. And that was kind of like, I could do this, I probably should do this, but I was like, you know what? I've got the time. It was like I had the money at the time. I was like, this is my big splurge for this year.
Yeah.
And I've used it every year, so it's definitely worth the money in my aspect. But I definitely feel like getting a projector separately and then just buying what I wanted would have been the better alternative. Because you can still buy the sheet separately from them.
That's what I got. the green screen, of course, in the video. See, I'm in front of a green screen. It's not a black screen. That's a green screen. But this kit, who was less than $100, but included green, white, and black. Mm-hmm. And this is a good, I think it's 11 by 8 foot sheet. It's basically a thin piece of sheet material that I can use. I used the white one that I can use for movie night, and the same thing for on a reversal for people walking outside. It's the same aspect, ratio, and people will be like, "Oh, it's a zombie coming out! What the heck?"
Yeah, so it's definitely it. I absolutely love it. I would use it more than just Halloween. Mm-hmm. It's just my particular home layout. It doesn't quite always work. That's the only
especially
reason
for Christmas. It's kind of hard for Christmas because how you have to set up your projector a certain way, and then
you
don't want to put it outside because those neighborhood kids. That'd be the first thing that they take.
Kids. Yeah, it's just I think in time, as things change and my daughter grows up, our home layout will change slightly. And I should be able to use it more, but as of right now, it's just a Halloween decoration, and I still think it's worth the money.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's really cool that they've done that slim down version. I actually wish I would have known about it earlier, because I probably would have gotten that slim down version so I could project not only in the window, but in like another window in the guest bathroom or on the walls in the house. You know what I mean? Like I could have done more, and it would have been really cool to have do that and to have known.
Well, there's still time to get another one.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. The other half would be like, what?
Yeah.
No.
But I like the fact also that the company is every year they put out new videos, so it's not like it just gets stale.
Yeah, you get the same zombie or the creeper.
They update it, and at least last year they did. I didn't notice this year, but last year they did a licensing deal with a popular horror movie. So you could get that character of that horror movie wandering your house, kind of thing. Like that was really neat. And I hope they continue to do that, but I'm sure that's not cheap.
No. Licensing deals are always not cheap.
Yeah, or easy. But that was really cool. And they've got some unique features that I hope they expand upon. But again, I know that it's always difficult. They have I guess the easiest way of putting it is one of those like punching bags that have a water base.
Right.
You know what I mean? But put one of those, remember the old school inflatable knockover clown things? Well, that kind of just like generic shape for the top here, where it's just kind of a bubbled, rounded. Yeah. They have one of those on top of one of those water bases, and it's just a gray, and it just sits in the corner. But the point of it is to project onto that.
Yeah, it's projection mapping.
Yeah, and again, another reason that I got the projector from them, that's built into the software, so you can tell it what it is you're projecting onto. So I could project onto that, so it looks like it's an animated figure, kind of thing. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, because I looked earlier this year, because I was just looking for ideas for what shall we do for Halloween. Let's try to bump it up. But one of the things, like I mentioned with projection mapping, if you've ever been to like a theme park like Disney World or even Universal, the castle or the big landmark, they do this huge display that is pretty much mapped to the shape and design
Animal Kingdom, their tree.
Yeah, and the tree.
That's the best of you. If someone knows,
you can do that at home.
Yes,
there are actually programs. It's not for
everybody.
It's not for the beginner DIYer. You have to have a laptop, and there's this program that you have to take the time to actually do it yourself, and then set the points where the image is going to be and how it's going to look. Because you can just simply project or set up a projector, aim at your house, and then
it just won't be the same.
It's not going to be the same. But there've actually, if you looked on YouTube for Halloween projection mapping, there's a few people that have done that and have done it well. Like you look at it, it's like, oh, these people must work for the theme parks. No, there's just regular people that have taken the time and done this.
Yeah,
and done it with the investment is up there. because you have to have a very good projector. You're not just $100 or $200.
No, this is getting up there in money.
You need a nice, we're talking like $1,000 projector.
Yeah.
With a high output and even 4K sometimes, because when you get on the house, it's going to drop it at 1080.
Mm-hmm. And you got the light bleed, so it needs to have a strong light.
Yeah, it's got to have a strong light. Then you got maintenance of it,
Yeah.
but then also you have to secure it because you have to have it in a black box, or so to speak. So it's not detracting from your immersion of what's happening on your house.
That I'll tell you what, personally, that's just even normal decorating.
Mm-hmm.
That's the killer for me, is because there's a lot of times where I want to do something, but I have no way of hiding it.
Yeah, so the wires all over the house or the yard.
There's a random, light effect that's sticking in the yard, pointing at the house. That's just kind of like, well, that's so bright. You can tell it's just all right, done. that kills me.
Yeah, a lot of times you see like the new things is the LED, like they're not video. There's just like strobe or like lights, powerful lights that put like a ghost and this is like flows, and that's pretty much
or
it.
eyeballs blinking, or something like that. Yeah.
But I have for Christmas, I have the snow effect, big globe thing. But I try to make it where it's not noticeable. I have it off to the side, and it's not like right in front, shining up. It's off to the side where it gets like it's a diffused look.
Yeah.
I go all out, but not as much as I want because I have budgets.
Yeah, and time.
Yeah, and time. But another thing is what happened a couple years ago with like the LED lights that were into the music. These whole shows,
the animated light shows.
Yeah, the animated light shows. It started with like the Christmas stuff because
that's lights.
Lights.
Most people are using just lights.
Pretty much, yeah. It's now bled over into Halloween, and people have done. Oh, well, I can just change the music and just change the scene effects, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's a simple switch over for those. And again, that's another investment.
Well, especially
there's actually kits for that you can buy.
Yes, there is. And not only that, but the fact with LED lights. So now you can just put up one strand of lights, and it could be your Halloween, your orange, your purples, greens, stuff like that, and then leave it up. And Christmas time, it's your reds and golds and and all that. And it's
you can even do Thanksgiving for whatever reason. Maybe
who knows?
What Thanksgiving songs come to mind?
I have a few, but I can't say.
Lunch Lady or the Adam Sandler Thanksgiving song. But that's the thing is like Thanksgiving is like it's a middle holiday. It's a middle child syndrome. It's just stuck in between these two great ones. But
it's really a foodie holiday, not a decorating holiday.
Yeah, because
all your efforts in your food.
Yeah, some turkey posters, and that's. I mean, you still got the hay and the pumpkins if you live up in the Northeast because they last forever. Down here, about a week, you never cut them open.
Yeah. We made a mistake a few years ago of carving our jack-o'-lantern a little too early.
Yeah, in a couple of days,
that was gross.
To a rotten mess.
The liquid that was coming off.
Yeah, we've done horror stories with a pumpkin inside a house.
Yeah.
We put carved a pumpkin, put it on top of the TV entertainment center. It looked fine from the back, but where it was sitting, and it was just oozing and dripping down the back. We picked it up, and it's all like so squishy. You're like, oh.
But yeah, so the decorations, the inflatables have come a long way.
Huge nowadays.
Yeah, and the quality of them's come a long way, and they're adding more where now there's light effects and movement animations with inside the inflatables and all that. That's come a long way. Excuse me. I would say even animatronics.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up.
Becoming really big too. They're expensive, but I think they're getting better in price.
If you go to like any Spirit Halloween store, I mean, they're everywhere throughout the country and old closed down stores.
Yes.
I mean,
all the Toys R Us's.
Yeah, all the Toys R Us's are now Spirit Halloween this year. But yeah, you walk in, and their big thing is these animatronics. Or even now, also they'll walk through haunted houses.
Yep.
That you can set up in your front yard or in your driveway for a week.
Yeah, it was the first time that I noticed it this year. If you look at Spirit Halloween this year, at least here locally, so I'm assuming it's everywhere.
Yeah.
they always kind of have a theme for displaying their animatronics, and this year it was like pirates, kind of like ships. They had like a big boat ship thing, and then they had like the docks and
I think
all
it's
that.
different in each store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's one that's down the road. I didn't. It was like a clown carnival type. Because they had a lot of clown animatronic things around it.
It's not the animatronics.
No, but I'm saying
It's the display that the animatronics are on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they have more of like it's a carnival type.
You'll have to tell me where that one is, because I've been to 3 spirit stores and they've all been the same.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was a little thrown off by that.
But because when you said pirate ship, because we went to the one, I'm like,
the one on 19 here.
Okay.
That one's set up with the boat and all that stuff. But what I thought was interesting is they have the big ship. They have this big ship in there, and they have some of the animatronics in there, but they have like cargo boxes and netting thrown over it to give it that kind of nautical feel, even though it's all made out of cardboard.
Right.
I happened to notice there was this sign that was just kind of sitting on the boat that wasn't really attached to anything. It was all the cardboard material for the boat, the netting, the lighting that they used, all of that stuff. This isn't stuff that you normally buy in store. It's just made for display purposes. They had the price list. You could buy
the whole setup,
the spirit setup for that nautical display that they're using to house animatronics. You could buy that display setup. And I was like, that's actually really cool because, they do something slightly different every year. And I do know that a lot of times people will go when the store is closed down and try to get those displays.
Well, yeah, like the day after Halloween,
Yeah.
it's like everything is like 75% off.
Yeah, and they'll usually try to buy, you even get that with stores closing. People go and try to buy shelving and all that stuff. So I thought it was interesting that they had it right there up front before at the beginning of the year. I was like, wow, that's actually kind of a neat idea. Smart, actually. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, the animatronics are coming a long way. More licensing again. But the quality of them. It used to be the old school animatronics had this very generic.
Like the arm will move like up, down, and that's it. And maybe a head will tilt back and forth.
And now it's become, they'll lunge at you. And,
I was just watching, I think it was on Reddit or something, where a little boy was in one of those stores, the spider animatronic. It comes out. Of course, it scared him. Yeah, he started beating the crap.
I saw that.
I guess his parent had to pull him off because he was continuing going after it.
Oh yeah, that was really. I saw that too. That was really funny. It was cute.
Well, yeah, it's just like the animatronics. It's the technology. I mean, it's gotten pretty simple that they can replicate it for the consumer market.
Yeah, there's some really, really cool things, and I love animatronics. That's a good thing I don't have more money because.
Well, yeah, because the starting price for for even a small one maybe $100 or around that.
We'll say around.
Close to.
So yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool things, and that's I don't know. I'm a big Halloween nut. I love decorating for Halloween. I love the setup for Halloween. Like I just always have. My mom was the same way. She was big, at decorating, and I don't know. It's just something that's ingrained in me. I'm hoping to ingrain in my little one. But I love the fact of how it's coming along with the decorations and the quality, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Is things going to go more digital? Or,
I think they're going to use a lot of more. We're going to see more advanced animatronics.
Okay.
Within the next 5 years, because now it's a small plastic pieces that have a lot of movement. We're going to see a lot more lifelike movement, because just the animatronics. I mean, yeah, of course, Disney and those kind of animatronics are like millions of dollars, and they are very close to lifelike human appearance.
Yeah,
where they're even simulating, like when you move your arm, it doesn't go. There's a bounce. Yeah. But yeah, there's going to be a huge advancement in that. And I'm also going to see probably a lot more people doing the projection mapping. Okay. Because those prices are going, because all you got to do is they're going to have projector units with a, you can probably do it with the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
You can put the projector unit, have a Raspberry Pi stuck right on top of it, put it in a black box, and then that's it. You're good to go for tonight.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing that we can we can leave you guys on today is that we've caught word that apparently they are trying to change what day Halloween lands on. They're trying to change it to the last Saturday of the month.
Which would be great because I'm tired of having Halloween on a Tuesday or in the middle of the week.
See, it's
like this year it's on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Halloween. I gotta go back to work.
While I agree, because everyone loves when it falls on a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm also kind of a traditionalist in that it has to be on the 31st. It has to be the last day of October. To me, that's what makes it fun. It's just like your birthday. Your birthday's never always going to land on a proper day.
Well, you can always
you're going to have some birth. Well, you can still celebrate it that day. Yeah. Absolutely. You could still kind of do the same thing with Halloween. You could have Halloween parties the last Saturday of the month, but go trick-or-treating on the 31st.
See,
you know what I mean? Like, you're still that capability, but the day itself should be Halloween. I don't know. It's tradition. It's always
you're
been.
A Halloween purist.
Yes, I very much am. And while I get the idea of it, I'm not a fan of it.
True. But I look at it as the fact that, okay, if you put it on a Saturday, you'll have more things to do for your kids. Because you're not worried about, okay, little Timmy or Susie has to go for trick-or-treating. Well, now that they're out till like later, they're hopped up on sugar, and they still got to go to school the next day.
See, to me, that's part of the experience, though. Just because you can, when the holiday, specifically Halloween, falls on a weekday, you know it ahead of time. It's not like it's a surprise. So
Some
you
people
go
be like, "What? It's Halloween already?"
So you go into it going, you can't do as much. We can't go as big this year because of this effect.
It's on a stupid weekday.
So when it does land on a weekend, not only is it the holiday and everyone's excited for the holiday, but it amps up the holiday that much more because it's on a weekend. So now all those years that you couldn't do anything, boom, you make a big blowout of it because it's now finally on a weekend.
Right.
Whereas if it's always on a weekend, while yes, it's still going to be a big deal and it's a big holiday, it'll never reach quite that big boom aspect of it.
I look on the other side. I can see where it actually becomes bigger because you'll have block parties.
Maybe.
And then we'll have like this neighborhood over here. Yeah, of course, if you're watching a video, you have it up. It's over there.
We're just going to point random.
Over there. Or even if you're listening to audio.
The neighborhood right over there.
Yeah, over there. But the neighboring neighborhood is actually huge with Halloween. Like, they go all out. That's pretty much where everyone goes. We have maybe 5 trick-or-treaters at the most. Because there's thousands of people over there. But I can see as more of a big block party, like it's an event. I mean, you look at Black Friday. Mm-hmm. It is always the day after Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is always on the last Thursday of November. Well, it could be Halloween is the last Saturday, and it has this big to do. We'll have Halloween Boogaloo 2, whatever. I don't know. Some guy in the PR marketing firm is going to be like, oh, I should get on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's different. They all have their reasons. But yeah, I'm very much a purist. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, it should stay. That's me.
Well, Halloween is an American tradition, pretty much. It's not widely celebrated throughout the rest of the world. It's a North American type ordeal.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, it's still recognized, it's still celebrated, but it's just it's not as
well. Like we're looking at before we started the show, the Mexican holiday Day of the Dead, the Dias des Muertos. I probably even screwed that up.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
you get the idea.
Yeah, my Spanish is not that great.
You probably just confused all craziness out of the closed captioning.
We'll find out. Yeah, Distance Mortis. But yeah, it's the thing. It's always on October 31st to November 2nd is always that weekend, which is always, I don't know how long it's been that way, probably for generations.
I wouldn't even say that weekend, but it's that stretch.
That stretch, those days.
Yeah.
So I can see that it's a very big event for the Hispanic community because
it's a really cool event when
if
you know about it. Yeah.
When you actually look into it, and instead of, there's people dress up in these cool masks and they go to a graveyard, it's like, that's kind of creepy. No, it's not. It's actually quite nice.
It's all family.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to actually dive a little bit deeper, if you don't even have any idea what it is,
go watch Coco.
Go watch Coco.
That's a very easy introduction.
Yeah, it's like the Idiot's Guide to
the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, but it is. It's one of those things where it's always a certain period of days, and it's always been that way. And then some other cultures have probably something around this time of day. Year that is similar to Halloween, but it's not, everyone goes trick-or-treating. And Halloween, it's derived from an old pagan holiday where
it's Halloween's got a background that, depending on where your religious beliefs fall, all kinds of things. But to me, that's another reason why it should continue to stay on the 31st. Because you could technically use the same argument for any holiday.
Can commercialize it.
Yeah, well, that's really all these are.
Yeah, it's like candy sales are gone through the roof.
But I mean, you could use the argument for anyone. You could say the same thing for the Mexican holiday and say, well, it's always going to be the first weekend of November. Christmas, you can instead of it being on the 25th, it's the last weekend of December. You could use that argument anywhere, but really there are reasons why the holidays were picked this way, whether commercial or not.
Well, it's also we'll look at it as because how not going to a religious aspect for let's look at Christmas. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here.
Easy. This
is a family friendly show, but you can look at it as we continue down our generations after generations, certain things start losing certain meanings or will change.
They're losing their foundations.
Yeah. So let's say within 50 years, Christmas is no longer about the religious holiday. It's more of getting families together, or nuclear holocaust all of a sudden. Now it's because it's something else entirely. We've forgotten Christmas.
Yeah.
And we're now just running around caves and doing stuff.
Fallout.
Yeah. That's another show. Bethesda. But anyways, if you have any idea of how you would go about changing Halloween.
Yeah, I would love to hear.
Would you like to keep it the same? Are you a purist like Joe?
As you should be. Just saying.
Or are you a
open-minded?
Open-minded. Here we go with political liberal. Are you a liberal Halloweenist?
Join our Facebook group.
Yeah. Actually, do join our Facebook group and our Facebook page and our Twitter account. It's all our website is at thecollective.net. Thecollective.network is the links are all there for everything.
But I would love to hear other viewpoints. What other arguments are there for it to be moved or not be moved? That's what I would really like to know.
Yeah, I would like to see what other people come up with. It's like, hey, maybe we do it on a rotating schedule. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and end it on that one.
Okay, yeah. Before we just go right into that cliff. But yeah, thank you for joining us on this episode, this weird episode actually, coming back again. See us again when we release every month, second Monday of every month. You try keeping these schedules together. I got so many different things I gotta think of. Drink that water. Have a spit take.
Almost did.
Yep. But thank you for coming, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good night or evening, morning, whatever.